Textbooks have always taught us that the Earth we live on is made up of multiple layers, each with distinct structures. But what would happen if the reality was completely different from the theories we've been taught? Perhaps what we know about the Earth we inhabit is still limited. We yearn to collect data about the mysteries beyond space, while we still lack a definitive answer about whether the Earth is a solid mass or not. Particularly, many cultures across the world speak of a hidden kingdom deep beneath the Earth's surface. This kingdom is entirely separate from both the modern and ancient worlds. Its inhabitants have hidden themselves from the sunlight and the primitive brutality of humankind throughout history. They possess a highly developed culture within a vast space, nestled deep inside the Earth. Many are intrigued by this civilization, drawn to its mysteries like a magnet attracting attention. While ancient knowledge may have been forgotten in the passage of time, the existence of a civilization with advanced technology is an undeniable truth. It will remain there, awaiting the discovery of mankind. The place we are referring to is the underground city of Agartha. Does a modern and advanced civilization truly exist, hidden within the core of the Earth? Let's search for the answer in today's video titled, "The Mystery of the Hidden Civilization Beneath the Earth's Crust." Before diving into the main content, be sure to support the creators of this video by hitting like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for choosing to join us on this journey through the primordial universe tonight. Let's begin now. Explorers have long believed that Agartha is a real location. In fact, theories suggesting that our Earth is a hollow shell have existed for thousands of years in the stories of ancient civilizations. Almost every ancient society has tales of an underground world where beings with extraordinary powers reside. Agartha might simply be one name among many used to describe a vast, hidden kingdom. With millions of people said to inhabit it, this place is mentioned in ancient legends, and it is directly connected to the Earth's surface via a vast tunnel. Religions in India refer to a place known as Patala, meaning the place beneath the earth. It is described as a beautiful land with rolling hills and lush green rivers. Many believe that this is the true Garden of Eden, the place where Adam and Eve once lived. After violating God's command, Adam and Eve were banished to the Earth's surface. In the ancient texts of the Maya civilization, the underground world known as Shambhala is mentioned multiple times. It is a civilization created by two twin brothers, who later ascended to the surface to live. In Aztec culture, they are said to have lived in 7 caves underground before rising to the Earth's surface. Researchers continue to search for these 7 caves. Underground civilizations also appear frequently in the legends of Native Americans and Africans. The common thread in these stories is the mention of an advanced civilization beneath the Earth's surface remains completely separate from human life. The Sioux people refer to it as Si, the place where the souls of the dead dwell in a gloomy realm. It consists of dark, cold caves deep underground, ruled by the goddess Eris Gigan. In Sumerian culture, it is viewed as the dark counterpart to the world they inhabit, and the only food there is dust. The Babylonians also have a similar dark version in their culture, known as Ikala. These distant civilizations may seem challenging to the human imagination, but Chinese civilization is different. The geographical proximity and historical encounters have likely made Chinese civilization more familiar to us. In simpler terms, Si or Ikala is essentially the underworld in Chinese culture, where the king of hell, along with other deities, rules over life and death on the surface. Life in the underworld is, in many ways, quite similar to life on Earth. In nearly all major and minor civilizations across our continents, ancient legends of a world beneath the earth have it holds a certain place, clearly not just a series of random coincidences. In the distant days of human history, geographical distance was the only barrier preventing the exchange between civilizations. So, could the worlds beneath the earth's surface really exist? Before the concept of hell became a fearful notion to humankind, it was the realm where the gods resided. They created advanced technologies that propelled the development of primitive human civilizations, much like the legend of the Great Flood. The myth of underground civilizations repeats in many cultures. The story of Agartha requires concrete evidence and witnesses to make us believe, and fortunately, researchers have both. One such researcher is the Swedish spiritualist Mariana St. She claims that she made contact with someone from Agartha through meditation. It may sound unbelievable, but this contact was even turned into a book by Mariana St. The person from Agartha shared with her the shape of the world deep within the Earth's core. The person from Agartha is named Team. He was originally from the Earth's surface, an American living in Seattle during the 1960s. One day, while transporting goods by sea, a powerful wave struck and capsized the ship. Team fell into the water, and he lost track of time. He vaguely felt someone pulling him onto a small boat. The boat seemed to travel through a tunnel with dim lights, finally stopping at a small dock. When Team fully regained consciousness, he found everything around him strange. The architecture of the buildings was unlike anything he had ever seen. The houses were round, and there were no roofs. The construction material resembled marble and emitted a faint light. This light was neither like sunlight nor artificial lighting. It was a very soft, gentle glow. The streets had a golden hue, and in the distance, there was a towering palace. Team found everything too peculiar, and the person beside him told him that this was Agartha, the world beneath the earth. It was then that he realized the person who had saved him. I am a man with a kind appearance. He had long white hair and wore a robe resembling something from the medieval era. Team stammered, thanking the man and expressing his hope that he would soon return him, as his family was waiting for him there. The white-haired man agreed, but also hoped that Team could tell the people on the surface that the continent of Agartha is real, not just a rumor. Team immediately agreed. The man also handed Team a whistle, saying that if he wanted to return to the surface world, he should blow into this whistle. People on the surface would not be able to hear the sound of the whistle, but those in the underground world would. They would send someone to pick up Team. The white-haired man further explained that if Team could bring others into the world within the Earth's core, the only requirement was that the person must believe that Agartha exists. Afterward, Team was brought to the entrance of a long tunnel. When he emerged from the tunnel, he was surprised to find himself standing under Mount Shasta in California. At that moment, a neighbor asked about his accident. He had heard that the entire crew had perished. So, why was he having returned? Team was a man of integrity. He recounted his entire experience to his neighbor. After hearing Team's story and seeing the look in his eyes, the neighbor felt something was off and thought he might be mentally ill. The miraculous return after the accident quickly spread throughout the area, and a reporter heard about Team's story and rushed to interview him. But no one believed his words. Team was deeply disappointed, and he suddenly realized that he still had one living relative, his grandmother, who was in Sweden. He immediately flew to Sweden. When his grandmother saw her only grandson, she was deeply moved. She had thought he was no longer alive, but now he appeared before her. Team hesitantly began recounting his experience, speaking while anxiously watching his grandmother's reaction, afraid she might think he was crazy. But before he could finish his story, his grandmother slapped her thigh and loudly said, "I believe you." This was because his grandmother had once been a spiritualist and had contacted beings that ordinary people could not see. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the next exciting exploration journeys. And then, Team to make contact with Mariana through meditation, Team recounted his entire story, and she transcribed all of his experiences into a book titled Agartha, The World Within the Earth's Core. So, in the end, is Mariana's book simply a mystical novel, or is it based on real events? In fact, scientific evidence might make us question and believe that Agartha truly exists. Many researchers have long believed in the hollow Earth theory. They argue that the Earth's core is where Agartha exists, and this theory is in stark contrast to what we've been taught in textbooks. The hollow Earth theory is a collection of ideas suggesting that the inside of the Earth contains an empty void. It has become a heated topic of discussion for centuries. Vast underground caverns, never before explored, only add to the intrigue of the hollow Earth theory. The idea behind this theory is that the Earth is indeed hollow inside, and it encompassed by more land and water than on the surface, with a unique ecosystem sustained by sunlight. This is the description of the Earth's core. The Earth's crust, 2,400 kilometers thick, is what separates what has been described as a distinct civilization from us, living outside the crust. The origin of this theory was driven by the famous novel Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne, published in 1864. As the book became increasingly popular, some people began to regard it not as a novel, but as though it truly presented new discoveries. The first evidence of this was published in the late 19th century by a researcher in the field of geography. The book, titled Physical Geography, was written by Arnoldo de Azevedo, who wrote about a mysterious world beneath our feet. He argued that the scientists of that time knew nothing about what lay beneath the Earth's surface. The author continued by stating that scientists only proposed theories and hypotheses without any solid evidence to verify their reliability. Azevedo also put forward his own scientific hypothesis behind this theory. When the Earth was still forming as a planet, the inner part of the Earth was simply molten lava, and due to centrifugal force from the planet rotating around itself, the molten material from the center or core of the Earth sank. This caused the Earth to be shaped by centrifugal force, with the poles being lower and holes forming at the equator. Do you believe it or not? There is actually a calculation supporting this theory. The total surface area of our planet is 431.5 million square kilometers, which would result in a weight over 6 times the actual weight of Earth, 5.972 times 10 to the 24th kilograms. This means that the Earth could resemble this theory. In fact, this theory was first mentioned in 1692 by Edmund Halley, an astrologer and mathematician from Oxford University. He proposed the idea that the Earth is actually a hollow planet. In the early 20th century, this theory began to receive significant attention from scholars in various fields. A group of Russian scientists discovered that the magnetic North Pole, represented by a single point, it forms a nearly 1,000-year-long line, spanning 500 kilometers, crossing the polar rivers all the way to the Taya Peninsula in Siberia. There have been astronomers and mathematicians who support the hollow Earth theory. One of them is Dr. Edmund Halley, the Royal Astronomer of England, who is credited with discovering Halley's Comet. He believed that the Earth we live on does not have a solid core, but rather contains many layers of hollow space interspersed with solid matter. Halley believed that the unusual light, or auroras, were gases escaping from these hollow spaces inside the Earth. This means there could be passages leading to Agartha at the North and South Poles. Even more fascinating is that the great scientist Isaac Newton himself believed in this hypothesis. Initially, this theory did not receive support from scientists, who thought it was crazy and impossible to believe. However, it seems that things began to take a turn starting from the 18th century. The man who introduced the Sim-Thet hole theory, John Sims, suggested that the Earth is indeed hollow and that we could live inside it, not just on its surface as we do now. The way humans are exploring may be best exemplified by the exploration of the Earth's interior led by U.S. Navy Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd, which stands as the clearest evidence supporting the hollow Earth theory embraced by many scientists. This expedition into the Earth's core seemed like something out of a fairy tale. In February 1947, Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd led an expedition into the Earth's core through an entrance at the North Pole. The deeper they ventured, the more awe-inspiring the sights became. On December 24, 1965, his diary about the underground world expedition was published. He recorded in his diary, "Before me lay valleys covered with lush, green, dense foliage. In the valley floor, there were small streams with clear, babbling waters. Not only that, this place also featured a large number of extinct animal and plant species. Byrd saw creatures that had long been extinct on the Earth's surface, such as dinosaurs and woolly mammoths. The cave ceilings seemed like an extraordinary sky above. With floating objects that hovered in the air in a very strange manner, glowing disc-shaped flying ships hovered above, adorned with symbols and markings on their bodies. The area resembled a vast military base, overwhelming in its scale. He wrote in his diary, "This is a land in the Arctic. It is a gigantic and incredibly mysterious base." What was even more astonishing was when his expedition advanced into this land. Suddenly, the radio of each member began to crackle with a hoarse voice, carrying a slight Northern European or German accent, greeting the Admiral with the words, "Welcome, Admiral, to our land. Where is this? What is happening?" A barrage of questions continuously raced through the mind of the seasoned pilot. The strange stories didn't end there, just as Team's tale had unfolded before. Byrd was led deep into the Earth by a tall, blond man, where he met the rulers of the land. These people told him that this was the world beneath the Earth, called Aryan. They possessed an extremely advanced level of technology, far surpassing that of humanity on the surface. They still did not intend to make contact with the outside world, but after the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities during World War II, they realized that the weapons humanity held could potentially destroy the entire surface world, as well as impact the world beneath the Earth's surface. They sent aircraft to the territories of the powerful nations that possessed such weapons of mass destruction to deliver a message, but it was met with no positive response. These aircraft were attacked by human fighter jets, ending the expedition and returning home. Byrd had a meeting with the U.S. Department of Defense. All the information about the meeting was recorded in detail, and a report was submitted to the current president, Harry S. Truman. He was also requested by the relevant agencies to maintain secrecy. To this day, there have been many objections to what was recorded in Byrd's diary. Scientists argue that the existence of a world inside the Earth is not accurate in terms of energy dynamics, as ordinary matter cannot withstand the colossal mass of the Earth against gravitational forces. If there really are beings, or a world within the Earth, those creatures would experience less gravitational force compared to the surface world and would essentially live in a near-weightless environment. If the Earth is hollow, its mass would be much smaller and could not have the same mass as it does now. If the records in Byrd's diary are true, then the experience of exploring the Earth's mysteries would certainly be fascinating. However, to this day, no one can determine whether what was written in Byrd's diary is true or not, as most of the information has been highly classified by the U.S. Department of Defense. However, if the details in that diary are true, it would undoubtedly be an exciting expedition that stirs curiosity about the mysteries of the world within the Earth. In the 1920s, geophysicists observed seismic waves and made a surprising discovery. Within the Earth's core, there are two vast regions similar to continents. One is beneath the Pacific Ocean, and the other is beneath the African continent. They lie at a certain depth beneath the Earth's surface. Around more than 2,900 kilometers is the boundary between the Earth's core and the mantle layer. These two continents occupy about 1/3 of the area in the region between the Earth's crust and the mantle. This discovery left scientists astounded. They quickly used computers to simulate it according to various hypotheses. The simulation, with an average thickness of about 40 kilometers, represents the Earth's crust. Deeper still lies the mantle. The pressure here becomes immense, with a small portion of the material in the mantle being magma, existing in a liquid state, while most of it remains as solid rock. The thickness of the mantle layer is about 2,900 kilometers. Further inside is the outer core of the Earth, which is in a liquid state, primarily composed of iron-nickel alloys at high temperatures, with a thickness of about 2,200 kilometers. Deep at the center is the inner core, with a thickness of about 1,380 kilometers. The location of the two submerged continents we are referring to is approximately 1,000 kilometers from the mantle, making up about 8% of the volume of the mantle. Scientists are unsure how to explain this phenomenon because currently, humanity has no way to directly observe the Earth's internal structure. On the surface, equipment human exploration has only been able to drill as deep as 12 to 13 kilometers. In the deep ocean, where the Earth's crust is thinnest, it measures only about 5 to 10 kilometers. The Japanese drilling ship Chikyu has also only reached a depth of 7.7 kilometers beneath the ocean floor. This is the deepest drilling record in the world. Therefore, at present, to understand the interior of the Earth, the primary method used is seismic wave observation. Following that, surface materials of the Earth's crust are used for modeling, and then we make guesses about how the interior of the Earth might be structured, such as the density of the rock, chemical composition, temperature, and the density of liquids. However, scientists are also aware of the limitations of these models, as they can only represent a very small part of the many possible scenarios. The reality could be very different from what we know through modeling. So how should we explain something resembling a continent inside the Earth? The simplest explanation is that it is part of a supercontinent. you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the next exciting exploration journeys. After the supercontinent Pangaea broke apart into several blocks, a portion of it was subducted into the mantle layer through the process of subduction and eventually remained there. However, if we use the supercontinent Pangaea to explain the two hidden continents inside the Earth, there is still a gap that cannot be explained. The hypothesis suggests that Pangaea was formed about 300 million years ago. If this is the case, then the two continents inside the Earth should not be older than 300 million years. However, actual research has revealed otherwise. Scientists Harla and Paula Culler discovered that some material erupted from underwater volcanoes came from the two continents located inside the Earth. Furthermore, this material is extremely ancient, dating back to the period after the Earth formed, around 50 to 100 million years ago. This means that it is about 4.5 billion years old. Compared to 300 million years, this number proves that the two hidden continents are much older than the supercontinent Pangaea. This discovery directly disproves the hypothesis that these two continents separated emerging from the supercontinent Pangaea. If the origin of the two hidden continents cannot be explained through the Pangaea hypothesis, we need to consider another perspective. Early 20th century scientists proposed a theory that these two continents are the remnants of an ancient planet, the remains of a long-lost world inside the Earth. This theory only deepens the mystery of Agartha. Just when it seemed like everything had reached a dead end, the following evidence is sure to astonish you. Surely you know this man, Adolf Hitler, a notorious dictator, a ruthless and calculating figure who surely wouldn't believe in things that are baseless or non-existent. However, Hitler did believe in the hollow Earth theory. In the past, Nazi Germany even made certain discoveries in this field. In 1938, Germany conducted an expedition to Antarctica. A Nazi map of Antarctica was recently released, reigniting questions about the hollow Earth theory and forms of life that have never been discovered. In 1943, Admiral the Nazi German Navy, led by Karras, stated that the German submarine fleet had built an impenetrable fortress for the Führer at the farthest reaches of the world, in the Queen Maud Land region of Antarctica. This area was later renamed N, and the mysterious map of this location was found on a Nazi U-boat. It seems the submarine was used to explore distant, mysterious lands. All of this suggests that the Earth is a hollow sphere. However, why did Nazi Germany keep this secret for so long? The map even described the main part of the continent as being named Liberia, with the main ocean there called Vakarian. The bottom of the map depicts a city called Shambhala. This city matches the accounts of Tibetan monks who, for many years, have believed that Shambhala is a city located beneath the surface of our planet. The map revealed the true location of this legendary city. Many people believe that all of this is simply part of a propaganda plan for the Nazi war effort, or perhaps Hitler wanted to keep this secret for military purposes. Just imagine, if a safe passage could be created beneath the Earth's surface, they could launch surprise attacks on the territory of their opponents. In a letter from a crew member aboard the U-29 submarine, it was stated that the ship, commanded by Captain Henrik Prota, had reached the underground world of Agartha, and they would not return. To my old comrade, this message will surely surprise you. Robot 2009 confirmed it. The Earth is hollow, just as Dr. Hofer had said. Additionally, members of the expedition also affirmed that they had found a vast network of tunnels leading to Agartha. To this day, Hitler's death remains a mystery, as his body, along with his wife's, was so badly burned that it became almost impossible to identify. Could it be that he did not commit suicide as we've been told, but instead escaped to his domain in Agartha? Did Hitler and the Nazi regime actually build a base in Antarctica with the hope of resurrecting their empire in the future? These things are hard to believe, but they are not entirely impossible. The Arctic and Antarctica not only captured the interest of Germany, but also in 1947, powerful nations like the US and the UK, under the command of Admiral Richard Byrd, sent 4,000 troops from the US, UK, and Australia on an expedition to Antarctica as part of Operation HA. The goal of Operation 200 was to locate a massive underground base built by the Germans before and right after the end of World War II. In 1949, U.S. Secretary of Defense James Forrestal was reportedly diagnosed with mental illness and sent to the Navy hospital Beta. While there, he told medical staff about Operation HA, including stories of UFOs, Atlantis, and a Nazi underground city. He refused to meet with his relatives, including his wife. Shortly after, he mysteriously fell from the hospital window and died. The official hospital report stated that he had committed suicide. However, many rumors suggest that James Forrestal was assassinated by government agents to protect the secrets discovered in Antarctica during Operation 200. The full truth has never been revealed, but there are many. Many American soldiers lost their lives during this mission. How could a mapping operation be so unsafe? Additionally, many planes were lost during the operation, including the JOS 1. According to U.S. Navy documents, the plane was mysteriously blown up on its first trip to Antarctica. Other sources suggest that Antarctica is the entryway to the homeland of the Aryan race, the superior white race that Hitler pursued throughout his life. This nation could very well be Agartha. However, Antarctica or the Arctic are not the only entrances that connect modern humans to Agartha. What if there is an entrance near you? This is not an absurd idea, but one that is entirely possible. The system you are seeing is a network of energy lines that exists on the planet we live on. These lines are believed to affect everything from the locations of ancient monuments to the migration patterns of animals. The concept of a planetary grid dates back to ancient Greece, where the ancients believed in the concept of ophos, central points of the Earth. These points would be connected to each other through deliberate straight lines, often referred to as grid lines. These pathways will open up for us alternative entrances to Agartha, completely different from the Arctic or Antarctic. All the evidence of a mysterious civilization deep within the Earth continues to emerge through the passage of time. So, which is ultimately accurate, the hollow Earth theory or the solid Earth theory? To answer this question accurately today might be beyond the capacity of human knowledge. The structure of matter in its natural state is uneven. For instance, in the process of steel production, small air bubbles naturally form in molten steel and require specialized technology to eliminate them. So, when Earth was forming, could it have naturally formed objects that resemble bubbles? If the Earth were the size of an apple, then the size of a human would be smaller than a virus. From the perspective of a virus, understanding the core of the apple would be nearly impossible. Could the hidden continents within the Earth that scientists have discovered be the legendary world of Agartha? Humanity's technology must make significant advancements before we can answer this question definitively. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next exploration journey of the channel. Wishing you all a wonderful day with your family.